Hey guys, so recently I've been hearing a lot of hype about Netflix's new show, Squid Game. And so basically what I decided to do yesterday to just start off my weekend, to start off my Saturday, was to give the show a watch. However, what I ended up doing was that I ended up actually finishing the entire season of Squid Game from start to finish, first episode all the way up till the ninth episode, within a day itself, within less than 24 hours. So I did the calculations, and basically with a total season runtime of 485 minutes, that comes up to about a little over 8 hours that I spent my entire Saturday, a little bit of Sunday morning, just blitzing through Squid Game basically. And so now that it's a Sunday afternoon, about Sunday evening time, I felt like I needed to just do a short video on procrastination, on how to manage procrastination, and on how to go about achieving those goals that you set for yourself. Because obviously, after just that mini binge watching of Squid Game, I think that I just need to just reorient myself and also to prioritize maybe just a little bit better. And of course, just before I dive right in and share with you guys the recent strategy that I've been implementing just to help me out with my goal setting as well as my goal striving process, I did just also want to take this short time to welcome all of you guys back to this channel, especially if you guys are a first-time viewer, if this is your first episode, and specifically if this is your first time on this channel as well, then also a huge warm welcome to you, and to share across with you guys what this channel is all about as well as who I am. Basically, my name is John, and I am a Monash University Economics and Global Studies graduate, and so I'm essentially a full-time brand marketeer. It's actually my first full-time job. So while I do that over the weekdays, where I help to manage the growth as well as the health of a brand, over the weekends, I manage this YouTube channel where I share across on the triumphs and challenges of my work, the joys of weekends and hobbies, and honestly just anything else that I might come across, whether it be in a book, whether it be in a YouTube video, or whether it be just something that I learned from my personal experience, which hopefully will help to add value to both your own as well as my own life. So if that sounds appealing to you, then definitely do consider leaving a like, do consider subscribing and turning on your notifications so that you'll know whenever I release a new video, which I hope to be able to do on a weekly basis every weekend itself. And so just to dive right into it, right, the recent strategy that I've really been implementing to just help me out when it comes to goal setting and goal striving is by leveraging more of an input-based goal setting system. And so what I mean by an input-based goal setting system, as specifically in contrast to an output-based goal setting system, is that when I talk about an input-based system, it's really about setting goals that are more focused on what I really can control in terms of investing in and putting in, whether it be in terms of time, money, effort even perhaps, right? And so when I talk about input-based goals, these are really goals that are always going to be within my ability to control, whether or not I end up actually succeeding in achieving them, or whether I end up actually falling short. And when I contrast them specifically to an output-based goal setting system, this is going to be more of a system wherein the objectives, the results are going to be something that I perhaps want to achieve, but it may not necessarily always be in my control about whether or not I end up achieving these goals. And so to perhaps put it in terms of a more clearly understandable example, one of the input-based goals that I've recently set for myself over the last 2 months basically is that I really wanted to push myself to really create and release and launch one YouTube video each weekend basically. And so this is an example of an input-based goal in the sense that really when it comes down to it, I'm always going to be in control over whether or not I end up actually producing and releasing that one YouTube video each week, right? Obviously, barring certain like emergencies, whether it be family emergencies or maybe work emergencies, I might not end up being able to create those YouTube videos. But in the majority of cases, it's always going to be really within my control about whether or not I end up taking the time to ideate what I'm necessarily going to be talking about within a video. It's going to come down to me whether or not I invest the time to edit. And so while that's an example of an input-based goal. An example of an output-based goal may be perhaps just achieving 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel by December 31st, 2021, right? So that's definitely a goal that I would want to achieve for myself, and which I could set for myself as well. But at the end of the day, it's not really going to be in my control whether or not that happens. And so rather than only focusing my efforts on output-based goals, recently I've been adopting a strategy where I've been focusing on more of the input-based goals. And of course, just as a note, and hopefully this was already clear, but in case it wasn't, what you really want, I think, when you're setting goals for yourself is not to just have input-based goals or output-based goals. I think at the end of the day, you want a healthy mix of both. And at the end of the day, the outcome-based goals are really going to be, they're in and of themselves, they represent those outcomes that you really want to succeed. It's just that I think sometimes it can be a little bit hard to go about and make progress towards achieving your ideal outcomes if you don't also have those input-based goals. So if I can put it in terms of a hierarchy, I would suggest that when you're doing a little bit of goal setting for yourself, that you start off with those outcomes that you want to see in mind, that those outcomes that you want to necessarily achieve, and then you can work backwards and set those input-based goals, those inputs that you think if you are able to deliver them perhaps on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, or even on a daily basis, then those input-based goals are going to end up helping you to make progress towards achieving your output-based goal. And just as a final thought, right, on how this whole input-based goal setting process and methodology really helps in just keeping in check one's tendency to procrastinate, I think that when it comes down to it, when you're able to set input-based goals that are specifically time-bound, and so what I mean by time-bound is that they have deadlines associated with them. And so as an example of this, it might be to create one YouTube video a week, to exercise twice a week, or to read one book a month. All of these goals, they would be input-based goals, goals that are within your ability to definitely succeed in achieving them or to fall short of achieving them, and also goals that are time-bound. I think when you're able to do this, it does help to combat procrastination and to help you to keep procrastination in check. And so in my case specifically, one of the goals that I set for myself is basically to release and launch one YouTube video on this channel a week. And so thankfully, I've been able to do that more or less consistently for about the last 8 weeks or so. And what I found is that even though I do the majority of this of the time or a lot of the time basically have this tendency to procrastinate and this desire to just maybe just spend my weekends playing video games or binge watching Netflix or Disney Plus, right? Since I've set myself this input-based goal, which is time-bound, it does push me and help me to discipline myself just that bit more to make sure that I really do invest the time that I need to ideate, to record a video and to launch that video, right? And I think one of the also extra benefits of once you're able to get this process rolling and once you're able to do this consistently for a few weeks is that I think once you're able to develop that streak, so to speak, of being able to succeed at fulfilling your input-based goals, it does also create just a bit of extra resistance to yourself that you really just don't want to lose that streak because of procrastinating. And so, while I think obviously even if I do end up missing 1 week in terms of posting a video, that I shouldn't let that bug me too much and that I should just head back into things. I think all of this combined just does help in a way to combat procrastination just that little bit more. And that's it. Those are just my 2 cents on how I've been managing procrastination personally and managing how I go about striving towards achieving those goals that I set for myself. And so I think that definitely I can do a much better job at managing my time. And that's definitely something that I want to aim to do in the future to just ensure that I'm more economical and I'm more wisely spending my weekends. But all of this, I think, is just a learning process, and hopefully that's just something that I'm able to improve bit by bit over the weeks and months to come. But yeah, definitely I hope that all of you guys were able to take something valuable away from it, whether it be a useful strategy or just that bit of encouragement and support from knowing that, of course, you're not the only one out there suffering from procrastination. I think a lot of us definitely are as well. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys found this content today valuable, if you have an idea for what you want to see in a future video. And if you guys enjoyed the content that you saw today, definitely do leave a like and do consider subscribing as well if you want to see more content similar to this or from me specifically in the future as well. Other than that, have a good weekend, you guys, and take care.